Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. It's another Monday night DPI live, and like I said in the soft open, we've got a lot of news, with it being that halfway to the holidays type thing that Disney does every year. So we got all of the Christmas news and everything that's going on, at least at Walt Disney World for Christmas. We've got some Lorcana news. We've got some what does the Walt Disney animatronic look like news. We've got all kinds of things going on. But like I always want to do, I always want to start out with a thank you. Thank you guys all for watching, liking, subscribing, everything that you guys do to support the channel. I say it at the end as well. And I really, really mean it and appreciate it. New followers this week. If you were on the show last week, you saw Abir Parikh. He actually subscribed to the show, or she subscribed to the show during the show, and it was kind of while I was doing all of the other subscribers, so I kind of passed over it, and I said it last week, but I didn't realize that they actually did it during the show. But thanks for watching the show and checking it out. Andy Frank, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. 99 I Love Max, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Yan Shen, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Fenda Darbo, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Kelvin Lowe, thank you for the subscription. And Tanya Chapman, however you pronounce your first name. I know it goes both ways. Thank you for the subscribe over on YouTube. Again, we are nowhere without our subscribers, so thank you guys all very much for tuning in, checking something out, watching a video, leaving a like, sharing a video, whatever you guys do when you come to the channel. We very much appreciate it. Even if you leave a bad comment, helps us get better the next time we go on the show or next time we tape a video. So again, very much appreciate everything that you guys do, so thank you again. So let's get into the news. So we've got a lot of news. Let's start out with Christmas, and let's start out with the Very Merry Christmas Party. Big deal at Magic Kingdom, and I'm going to bounce around a little bit because it's not going to be necessarily in order, but as always, Very Merry Christmas Party is going to start that first week of November. So normally you have like the week changeover from Halloween to Christmas, and the first Christmas party is going to be on November the 7th. And then going from there, there are going to be multiple parties on select nights until December the 21st. Tickets are going to go on sale on July 22nd, but if you already have a resort reservation, you can go online on July 16th and you can get those tickets then. So that's going to be Wednesday. Something else goes on sale Wednesday, and we're going to get to that here in a second. We've got a little bit more information on it, but we don't have all the information. So we're still kind of figuring everything out. With Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, they are also going to be doing Jollywood Nights over at Hollywood Studios. This is the Halloween Christmas exclusive event. It's a ticketed event, just like Very Merry is. You get to stay after hours at Hollywood Studios. And Jollywood Nights are going to start on November 18th and run select nights through December 22nd. Now, one thing to know about these ticketed events over at Hollywood Studios, there are a lot less of them. So you want to make sure that you understand when those are going to be and stack them with your Very Merry tickets or whatever you want to do. But dates for Jollywood Nights are definitely going to be November 8th, 15th, 17th, 22nd, 24th, and 29th, and then December 1st, 6th, 10th, 13th, 17th, 20th, and 22nd. So definitely want to make sure that you understand when those are going on sale. New for this year at Jollywood Nights, you can enter the park at 5:30 and see Miguel at Holiday Fiesta en la Calais in the new location, in a new location near Rock and Roller Coaster. So that's cool. You know, we've done the Christmas party a few times now, to be honest. And that is probably one of our favorite times to be in the park. Just Christmas time in the park is magical, but those parties are really, really cool. Love to see them bring back the Dream Lights. Don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but it's one of those things that, you know, you get special parade. Unless you're there on Christmas Day, you don't get to see the Christmas Day parade. Unless you watch it on ABC on Thanksgiving or on Christmas Day or whatever. And then you get a lot of just neat activations, some overlays, Christmas treats, you know, cookies and cocoa and that kind of stuff around the parks. And, you know, it's one of the most pleasant times of year to be down there. Now, granted, when we went down there a few years ago on Christmas Day, it was downright cold, but it doesn't necessarily get downright cold that often. So you're probably looking, you know, 60s, 70s, maybe low 80s on some of the days. You know, we tend to go earlier in the event schedule, so we've gotten there a couple of days where it has been in the 90s. We watched Pentatonics absolutely melt at Hollywood Studios one day. It's Florida weather, but it tends to be cooler. It tends to be a little drier. And you usually it's a good time. Now pricing for this is always kind of outrageous, which it kind of sucks because this is one of those things that, you know, I think Disney's realized they could basically charge whatever the hell they wanted for it, and they're gonna get it, but it's getting to a price point where I think it's really yeah. Shannon just said, I sweat just thinking about the guy in the black coat. Yeah, one of the singers in Pentatonics had like a black wool coat on and just drenched in sweat the whole time. So, let's see. They didn't put any pricing on here. So, you know, what I'm going to probably say is your off days are probably going to be $189. Your peak days are probably going to be $229, and that's going to be per person. There is no child discount. There are DVC and annual pass discounts. So, and I just noticed that Shannon is our number one fan. So, I would hope so. She's kind of married to me. I think that's a requirement. So Very Merry Christmas Party on sale. Let's see, do they have anything about pricing for Jollywood Nights? Jollywood Nights tends to run a little bit cheaper, but not a ton. So maybe like $159 on the off nights, maybe closer to $199 on the busier nights. So when I talk about busier nights, your weekend nights, that kind of stuff. If they have one over Thanksgiving weekend, it's probably going to be one of the most expensive. Let's see. We're going to go back a little bit before this because Disneyland is going to have some closures and reopenings and that kind of stuff going on. You know, 70th starts this week. So July 17th is the official beginning of Disneyland's 70th anniversary. Lots of big things happening. But also, we're going to see some closures and some reopenings kind of as this happens. So let's just go down the list. Star Tours The Adventure Continues is closed right now. Doesn't have an opening date right now, so we don't know exactly when that's going to be. The Pixar Pal Around is going to be closed July 14th, so starting today through July 24th. Walt Disney A Magical Life, which is the Walt Disney animatronic. We're going to talk a little bit more about this later in the show. It opens on July 17th. Storybook Land Canal Boats closes on July 21st. Reopenings TBA. They just did a big redo of the one over in Paris, and it's really, really cool. Matterhorn Bobsleds reopens on July 24th. Casey Jr. Circus Train closes on July 28th. Don't know when we're going to get that reopened. Incredicoaster closes on July 28th. Don't know when we're going to get that opened. Haunted Mansion closes on August 11th. There has been an opening date announced, but it's not. It's a rumored, because they're doing the switch over to The Nightmare Before Christmas. So that's probably going to open early November, I would imagine. Radiator Springs Racing closes on August 18th. Reopening TBA. So a lot of things going on. Basically, they're giving the 70th 2 weeks, and then they're starting some of their summer ride maintenance, late summer ride maintenance, that kind of stuff. So just be aware what's going on. Haunted Mansion goes down this year, every year for the switch over to Nightmare Before Christmas. So there's a lot going on. So just be aware. Test Track 3.0 opens in just over a week, July 22nd. It opens, and Test Track previews for annual pass holders, it's now on the app, so it is going to be a virtual queue. So July 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and 19th, annual pass holders can request to join the virtual queue at 7 a.m. and then at 1 p.m. So just like your normal virtual queue stuff, that's when it's going to happen. So if you are an annual pass holder, have the opportunity to get to Epcot, do this preview. It's a virtual queue. You can't just walk up and do it. Anything before this? Guests on the maiden voyage of the Disney Destiny now have the opportunity to pre-order merchandise. And everything you buy will be waiting in your room on Embarkation Day, which is pretty cool. Test Track, Jollywood Nights, Very Merry. I saved so much stuff. First look at the High Key Club, the new concierge lounge, opening July 10th for club level guests at Disneyland Hotel. We got this on July 9th, so a day before it opened. But music-inspired lounge for concierge level guests at Disneyland Hotel. If you want to see it, you can go over to the Disney Parks Twitter X account, and you can see everything you want on that. Hollywood Horror Nights, don't really care. Okay. Virtual queue will be in place for Walt Disney It's a Magical Life. So this is taking over where Tales with Mr. Lincoln was on Main Street at Disneyland. Okay. New animatronic. Supposed to be really well done. They didn't get it right. And if there's one animatronic that you're going to take a stab at, you gotta get the Walt Disney animatronic right. You know, I had seen it a few times and had my thoughts. I just held up the phone and showed it to Shan, and she goes, "His face is too fat. It's not long enough." And she's 100% correct. When you look at the artwork for the ride, they drew him well, and then the attraction, they drew him well, and then you look at the actual animatronic, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't. And yes, it's going to pass for a lot of guests. A lot of guests that go to the park aren't Disney historians, don't really know what Walt looks like. It's going to look close enough. They're going to be like, hey, this guy looks like Walt Disney. Woohoo. For the people that are going to go in there for meaning, it does not look like Walt Disney. Shane goes, it looks like a man in carousel progress. 100%. 100%. It's almost like they took that pre-mold and said, oh, I think we can make this look close enough to Walt. That's exactly what it is. So, yeah. And again, we're going to talk more about this today. Walt Disney Imagineering shared a new look at the map maker's room and the captain's booths inside the Beacon Barrel, the new pirate themed lounge opening at Magic Kingdom later this year. So this is kind of, if you remember where like the pirate bippity boppity boo for kids was in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, that's where this lounge is going. And it's going to be cool. I mean, it's going to fit the theme. Hopefully it's got fun drinks. Hopefully there's shanty singing and that kind of stuff in there. Hopefully it makes sense. And they play it up enough to where it's worth going into. You know, if it's just a guy with an eye patch serving me a beer, that's not the experience you want in something like this. You need pirates. You want pirates. You want pirate antics in there. You want people being tossed out. You want fake gunfire in there. You want all those things. Are you going to get those things? I don't know. But you need to have that kind of stuff. So, you know, this is going to be another one. Is how much are they actually going to put into it to make it to theme? You know, is this going to be Oga's level theming with pirates? Or is it just going to be, hey, we serve beer at Magic Kingdom now. Here's a bar. So, we'll see. Later this year. So, August 8th, this is the last day to experience Classic Haunted Mansion. Okay, we do have this confirmed now. Refurbishment closes on August 9th, reopens as Haunted Mansion Holiday on August 22nd, with seasonal overlay continuing through January 7th of 2026. So, that's pretty cool. I like that. Starting August 22nd, Storytellers Cafe at Disneyland will offer Mickey's Autumn Adventures Breakfast and Brunch Buffet, as well as Clarabelle's Enchanted Halloween Dinner. Bookings open tomorrow, July the 15th. Storytellers is really cool. So Storytellers is in the Grand Californian. And it's nice because the Disney hotels at Disneyland all have park access. So it's very easy to, you know, put this in the middle of your day, come out of the park, go to the hotel, go back into the park. If you're at DCA on Grand Californian Day, you're in and out of the park in a separate entrance, which is awesome. So that's cool. If you guys follow the We Call It Imagineering on YouTube, they released a new episode this week, and it was about nighttime spectaculars, but really the big thing that they revealed was a lot of the Disney Starlight Parade. And really, they gave you kind of the new character that's going to be a part of the Starlight Parade and some of the cool animation things that they're doing with the lights and with a couple of pieces of one of the floats and that kind of stuff. Really good. If you enjoyed, like, the Imagineering story and that kind of stuff, We Call It Imagineering is really cool. You'll enjoy that stuff too. Really good documentary. I like how they do them. And our friend Tara from the Halloween Parade is one of the featured guests on this one. So that's not cool. We Call It Imagineering. Yeah, we talked about that. So this was after talking about Whimsy and the Wink and all that kind of stuff. Definitely want to check that out if you're a friend, or if you're a fan of Disney, friend of Disney. Yeah. Test Track soft open at Epcot tonight. So on July 11th, Test Track just did a soft open. You could just jump in line. Every so often they do this kind of stuff. It happens. Disneyland Resort shared photos of the new Main Street USA window honoring Lillian Disney. So Lillian was Walt's wife. She now has a window on Main Street USA, which is cool. New animatronic. Yeah, just a lot of this new animatronic, this new Walt animatronic. It just... What I'm hoping, and I doubt it, I seriously doubt it, because it would change kind of the body proportion. The body proportion wouldn't make sense. But what I was hoping when I first saw it is that they shot it with an anamorphic lens and then missed the D-squeeze ratio, so everything looked shorter and fatter than it really was. But I don't think they did. I think they missed his face. I mean, when you look at it, it does not look like him. I mean, the hair is really the only thing that looks like it could be correct. The proportion on everything else is off. So, it's just sad. Again, it is the Walt Disney animatronic. You have got to get that right. You've got to get that right. Because all of the audio stuff is probably stuff that he's already said, or you can feed enough stuff into AI to where they can AI generate the voice. But the physical thing, that the animatronic, you have to nail. And you didn't get it. You missed. Alright, second date sells out for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Walt Disney World. Normally how this goes is Halloween will sell out, and then the first night will sell out. And let's see if that's what it was. So August 19th was one of the most affordable dates of the season, priced at $119. So October 31st sold out on May the 22nd. August 19th was the second date. It sold out on July the 12th. It was just cheaper than the August 17th date. Or no, cheaper than the August 15th date. So August 15th, August 17th, August 19th. August 15th was $149 per person. August 17th and August 19th were $119. What's August 19th? Is it a Friday? August 19th is a Tuesday. So middle of the week. So 17th is a leave day for a lot of people. So that's probably where that comes from. And then August 19th is a Tuesday. So you have more people kind of middle of their vacations than anything else. What we got? All right. Yeah, lots of people texting me about golf. All right. Anything else that I missed here? Let me go back through mine. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything else. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about untouchable attractions at Disney. It's funny because I got up yesterday morning, and I'm just chilling on my phone, scrolling through Twitter, and I ran across a couple of posts, and they were interesting posts about, what is Disney looking at to keep attractions open. And there were 3 criteria that they used. And the first criteria was, can it make money? Is it a seller of merchandise? Is it does it have good lightning lane viability? Is there a return on investment in those ways with rides? And then the second was what is the repair cost of the ride? And when you look at repair cost of a ride, I think repair cost of a ride has changed dramatically over the years with technology. When we think about animatronics now and animatronics 60 years ago, animatronics 60 years ago, those were one-of-a-kind pieces that they would have to mill themselves and all this stuff. Now, with modern technology, the piece breaks, they find the other one that's similar to it, they throw it into a CNC machine, they spec it out, they put it into a 3D printer, or they put it on a CNC machine, they cut it out themselves, and all you have is really material cost and machine cost. They've got the machines already, so repairing animatronics has become much cheaper now, and they can make the parts much stronger because of technology. So, but what it came down to, the third thing. Let me make sure that I can talk about the third thing really quick, because the third thing, I think I responded to that post too. There were 2 posts that I responded to here. Okay, can it be monetized? Doesn't need expensive maintenance. Is it IP based? Was the third one. So, the 2 rides that they really brought into question were Carousel of Progress and rides loose attractions. Carousel of Progress, Tiki Room, as 2 rides that they see could be on the chopping block when you look at these criteria for as a formula to judge an attraction. And it got me thinking about what are untouchable rides at Disney parks. When you're talking about, hey, we're going to do a retheme of an area, one of these rides is in that area, what is untouchable in these parks? And I really brought it down. I brought it down to 3. There's probably more, because I don't think they touch Dumbo. I don't think they touch the carousel, that kind of stuff. But the 3 that I brought it down to is they're not going to touch Small World. They'll make changes inside Small World. They will move it. They will not get rid of it. Small World will be around in the parks in one form or another, the life of the parks. Tiki Room was an interesting one. And really, Tiki Room for me comes down to when you watch documentaries about animatronics, it was always the Tiki Room first. The Tiki Room is always considered where the first animatronics were used. So for me, that takes Tiki Room off the table. Again, have they made changes to it? Yes, they have. Is it expensive to maintain? I think it is, because if it wasn't, you'd see a lot more of the animatronics working. There are a lot of the animatronics and the little pieces around the room that maybe one eyeball is all that moves, or one eyelid blinks, that kind of stuff. It isn't in perfect condition. And I think that's part of the joy of that attraction, is it isn't in perfect condition. So it's one of those things that it stood the test of time because it has that historical value. And then I think of Carousel of Progress, and I think Carousel of Progress falls in that same kind of bucket. And the reason I say this is because it was a World's Fair attraction. Again, the World's Fair is basically what made Disney what it was. Disney pitches all of this stuff at the World's Fair. It all works wonderfully. He knows how to build the attractions for parks at that point. Carousel Progress is one of those. I don't think Carousel Progress goes anywhere. Could there be massive changes into it? Yes. And the reason I say that, and if you've been a part of the show, you completely understand what's coming here. I really think in 2030, we're going to see a complete overhaul of Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. An absolute complete overhaul, like the way of Tokyo Disney Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. Because Laugh Floor is going to be moved over to Hollywood Studios. You've got the other building that used to be Stitch's Great Escape. You've got possibly the complete rebuild of Space Mountain. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of land because they're going to take out Tomorrowland Speedway. And when that happens, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to Carousel Progress, because I think that is the test that an attraction like Carousel Progress will need to pass to say, hey, this is staying until either we cannot maintain it anymore, it is completely broken beyond repair, or Disney has just gotten over the attraction. Hey, Robert, how are things going, man? Good to see you again. Carousel Progress is just, I don't know. It's one of those, right? It's not. It fits very well where it is, and I think that is what makes it such a good attraction. Because in that area, you've got kind of Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger Spin, you've got Carousel Progress, you've got Space Mountain, you've got Tron. And when you look at that progression of rides, and then you've got Laugh Floor, but like I said, Laugh Floor is not going to be there forever. It's making its way to Hollywood Studios as soon as they can figure out how to jam that into the Muppets 3D theater. But you've got that progression around there, and you've got Astra Orbiter, and you've got the People Mover, and that area. It's a little area where you've got all of that stuff right there. That attraction works really well. Muppets is gone now. Muppets 3D ended in June. So they archived the ride, they archived the attraction, went in there, videoed everything, and then they are preserving all of the animatronics. So all the animatronics have been packed and they are in the Disney archives right now. So it could come back at any time. But yeah, it's gone right now. The whole Grand Avenue shut down. So basically everything from those bathrooms and Pizza Rizzo all the way around to where Mama Melrose was, it's all gone. It's all torn down, or not torn down, but it's blocked off, and it's in the middle of a remodel to Monsters. Monsters Inc. is coming, and it's coming fast. So, but you know, untouchable attractions, and I really think those untouchable attractions are the ones that, you know, when you look at what's going on with Disney right now, if they were to touch something like that, because I don't think Splash Mountain was untouchable. I don't think that. I don't think Muppets 3D was untouchable. I don't think Maelstrom was untouchable. I don't think any of those were necessarily untouchable. Were they good rides, good attractions in their own ilk? Yeah. But I don't think that they were untouchable. I think when you think about Tiki Room, when you think about Pirates, when you think about Small World, those are the untouchables. I don't think you see anything happening to those, you know, for the next 50 years. You know, if the parks are around, you know, for World's 100th, I think Small World's going to be there. Pirates is going to be there. You know, in some form or fashion. Will they make technological upgrades to it? Possibly. But is there going to be a missing Pirates of the Caribbean? I don't think so. So, yeah. No, it's interesting to see Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, that area go. I think it's a big blow to the park, but I don't know that it was worth the uproar that it's getting right now. Did it remove a large area of natural space, even though it was completely unnatural, natural space in the park? Yes, it did. Did it remove an ambient area? Yes, it did. Is there going to be stuff going on in that area when Cars opens? There will be. There'll be noise. They're going to figure out how to theme it into it, even though it may not be fitting really well right now. But they'll figure it out. Let's talk a little bit about Lorcana. So we had a Lorecast last week. And really, the big things from a couple of weeks ago was they didn't know when tickets were going on sale for the DLCs. They didn't know when what the price was. They were really kind of flying by the seat of their pants. There's still been a lot of blowback about where the challenge events are, especially in North America. I mean, in Europe as well, because it seemed like they focused the challenge events more west or more east this time, I guess, is what would be the better term, where the North America ones are focused more like Midwest East, I guess you could call it. And there's only 3, and they're capped at 2048, and all this kind of stuff. So there was some blowback. So Lorcana responds by saying, hey, we're going to create these, and they're calling them Challenge Championship Qualifiers, so CCQs. This is something that they were going to start in the next rotation that they moved up. So this is going to be completely by the seat of their pants, so just be prepared for the S show it's going to be. Because there are going to be events that get invites to Continentals that don't deserve them. There's going to be events that deserve invites that aren't going to get them. There's going to be events that get multiple invites, and I think it's just going to be a crapshoot this year. So just be prepared for what it's going to be. So at Continentals, there are going to be 128 participants. So we already know that each of the DLCs are going to take their top 32 and pass downs. So, if you top 32 in the first one and then you top 32 again in the second one, the guy that's in 33rd place gets an invite. It's going to happen. So each DLC will send 32 participants to the Continental. That's 96. Last year, the last 32 came from last chance qualifying at Disneyland Resort. Not happening this year. There are only going to be 8 last chance qualifiers. So that means that if there are, are they going to do larger pods? Because they did small pods last year too. Are there going to be larger pods to get down to this 8 number? If you think about 8 and you push it out to 16 players per pod, I don't know that gives you enough capacity. Because 8 at 16 players per pod is going to be what? 80 and 48, so 128 players there. So are they going to only take 128 players at the last chance qualifiers? I don't know. Are they going to do pods of 32? That might make a whole lot more sense, because that puts you in the 250 range now. So 256. That makes a lot more sense. So, I don't know. But we'll get more information about that when that comes out. So the other 24 spots are going to come from these third-party invites. And like I said, they are going to go to third-party events that are basically supported by Ravensburger and the Lorcana team. They are going to have the ability to grant an invite to the Continental Championships, to the winner. Now, again, will this be a pass down? So say Zach Bivens wins a DLC. Say he wins Milwaukee right off the bat. And then he goes to one of these challenge events and he wins it. Is second place at getting the invite at that point? They haven't really announced how that's going to work. So, interested to see that. None of the CCQs will be before Fable is released. So, none of them will be before Labor Day, basically. So, be watching in your local area because they're really going to try and fill in the rest of the continents with CCQs. So Canada, you're probably getting CCQs. Mexico, you're probably getting CCQs. West Coast, down south, northeast, probably getting CCQs. Just be prepared. Start watching it. Get on their Discord server because they don't announce things really well outside of the Discord server. Yet. We'll see how that goes. They also announced the Southeast Asia schedule. So Southeast Asia they're putting that together as like one continent for a championship as well. Singapore's is going to be on November the 29th of this year. Hong Kong is either going to be in January or February of next year. Taiwan, March or April of next year. The Philippines, May or June of next year. And then the championships will be in September of next year. Southeast Asia, Hong Kong. You got Hong Kong Disney. I would imagine that the championships are going to be at that park. I don't know if they're going to follow the same thing because right now how they've got it set up, other than Australia and Brazil, everywhere else that they've got a championship set up, there's a park, a Disney park. So Disney Paris, you're probably getting the championships again. Land is probably going to handle the championships. I wonder if they flip them this year and go, World gets the Continentals, Land gets the Worlds. I don't know. We'll see how that works. Tokyo's got a park. China's got 2 parks. So, well, I guess Shanghai. So it would go Shanghai for China. Hong Kong would be Southeast Asia. So those would be your championship setups. Top 15 per event in the Southeast Asia. Challenge events will go to the championship. And then 1 will go to Worlds from there. So yeah, but past that, first week of set championships, lots of results being posted. I'm seeing them all over the board. Lots of green, purple, lots of amber steel. So interesting to see how they play out for the rest of the 4 weeks. This is a weird 4 weeks because it's not like leading up to a release like the last couple of championships have. So we'll see how that goes as well. Still interested to see what Lorcana has, if they have anything for those last 2 weeks of August. Because I just thought it was weird that the set championship schedule didn't follow the same pattern as the last few. But yeah. But that's all we've got. Let me go back to Twitter X here and see, geez, what we've got going on, if there's anything new that has hit since then. There was a lot of blowback on the Walt Disney animatronic. All right, I'll put this up on the other screen. This is such a great look at what's going on. So let me do this. Let's do that. Yeah, okay, there we go. So Walt Disney animatronic. Walt Disney animatronic. One more time. Walt Disney. Walt Disney animatronic. I don't know. I just can't. I just can't with it. So yeah. So that's where I'm going to leave the show tonight. Just, people. Hope you guys all have a good week. Thanks for stopping by. Lots of views tonight. That's a pretty solid show tonight. Thank you guys all for jumping on, checking it out. Everything you guys do. Have a wonderful week. We will talk to you next week. Bye now. I know that I keep promising guests. They're coming. I promise. Give it a month. Everything will be fine. If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast. If you're looking for a conversation, you can find us over on Twitter X at Disney Insights. We're also on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Threads. We're anywhere that you want to strike up a conversation, you can find us. Thank you guys for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, following, everything that you do to support the channel. It is very